You're watching Round Roanoke, your source for what's happening in the Valley. I'm your host, Alisha Starkey. The Civil Rights Movement was a pivotal point in our nation's history. And during the month of January, we celebrate the contributions of a great leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and his efforts during this time. This month, the Taubman Museum of Art is showcasing an exciting exhibit that brings light to this time in our history. Joining us today are Cindy Petersen, Deputy Director of Education for the Taubman Museum, and Charles Price, Board President for the Harrison Museum of African American Culture. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, Cindy, we'll start off with you. Tell us about this new exhibit, This Light of Ours.
This Light of Ours is on exhibit at the Taubman Museum of Art until Saturday, January 18th, and it offers a critical view of the Southern freedom movement of the 1960s and the activist work of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in Mississippi and Alabama during 1963 to 1966. And the exhibit shows the faces of the movement, the organizing for freedom, grassroots, voter education, voter registration, freedom schools, state, local terror, and the marches.
Okay, great. So visitors, when they come, what can they expect to see?
There are 157 black and white photographs in the exhibition, and those are from 9 activist photographers that actually lived through the movement, some for 2 months, some for up to 3 years, and with their families. And we have an audio tour, which is very exciting. It's the first time for the Taubman Museum of Art for an audio tour for both adults and children. And you can actually hear the voices of the activist photographers as you travel through the exhibition, and it's narrated by Julian Bond, who is the co-founder of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and is at the University of Virginia.
Okay, great. So there's another piece to this exhibition. It's a collaboration between the Taubman Museum and Roanoke College on a piece called Mosaic of Memories, Recalling Local Voices. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Taubman Museum of Art collaborated with Roanoke College and Dr. Kelly Dietz of the History Department to show and hear the local voices during the Civil Rights Movement, and that's on view currently at the Taubman in conjunction with This Light of Ours. And we have free admission also, so it's accessible to the community for both of those exhibitions, and it will be moving to the Harrison Museum as well as to the Salem Museum.
Okay, great. So perfect segue to you, Mr. Price, because your passion is really around preserving African American culture and really telling that story here in Roanoke. So what will this particular piece do for the Harrison, or what does it really mean for the Harrison?
Well, it's an opportunity to collaborate with institutions within the Roanoke Valley, specifically with the Taubman. This will be the 3rd activity that we would have collaborated with them. But it also allows us to reach out to the educational institutions, which we will be developing relationships with them to do additional investigative research on African American history within this region and locally. We're looking at it as being a positive impact into what we're trying to do. Also, it allows us to talk a little bit about the local history information that we do have in the museum relative to institutions that were involved in the development of African American history. Okay,
great, good stuff. So it's definitely going to be a benefit, a great add to the Harrison.
Most definitely.
When is it? How long will it be at the Harrison?
It's the exact time frame we're working with Ms. Dietz on. It will probably be in through the month of February, and we may end up going a little bit into March, but exactly we haven't finalized those. We're working with her and her team with that now. Okay. It will be in conjunction with some other exhibits that we have relative to local history, but the portion that this exhibit presents is quite interesting. It has a variety of ages. It has both men and women, and it's unique in that you have someone who's was involved in it from their age group, which would be quite interesting. And then you have another person who was younger and may not have been involved in it from that aspect, talking
Right.
about what they know and what they've seen.
Right, great stuff. Sounds like a great ad. Well, thank you so much for being here, and we will be sure to check out this Light of Hours before January the 18th.
Thank you.
You can find out more about the Taubman Museum's exhibit, This Light of Ours, and other events happening in the Roanoke Valley on the community calendar coming up at the break. I'm Alisha Starkey, and you're watching Round Roanoke on Cox 9. Thanks for tuning in.